Hey, what's going on? Welcome to At the Movies with Smokey. This episode, I'll be taking a look at the best movie of August. Warning, there will be spoilers. Get out of the water is a quote from a great shark movie, but instead we'll be talking about The Meg. Shackelton. Boom! Gotcha, Statham, ya bald son of a bitch. Did you know that The Meg is based on a novel from like 1999? I didn't. Also, it's apparently been in development for like 22 years, with film rights being owned by Disney, New Line Cinema, and finally Warner Brothers. So, The Meg is a movie about a giant shark eating people, starring Jason Statham, Batwoman, Dwight Schrute, and others.
Jason, I think The Meg gives the audience all they want and more.
The Stath plays a rescue diver named Jonas who lives in Thailand as a motorcycle driving alcoholic with PTSD. Because during a rescue operation to a nuclear submarine, something attacks them and starts crashing into the submarine, and he's forced to leave his two buddies behind to die. Which doesn't make sense. In this film, the Mariana Trench has a false floor of some sort of cloud, I don't remember what it is, and it's actually deeper than it lets on. And there's this entire ecosystem down there. Don't ask how specifically deep this is, because it seems to change between scenes, and somehow living beneath this giant cloud of whatever lives megalodons, among other giant fauna. The events of this movie are apparently the first time that a megalodon has escaped this secret world. So what the hell destroyed the submarine 5 years prior?
It's almost like a story of redemption in some ways, where people don't believe what he believes quite strongly in, and he gets to prove a point, but at the same time, never to lose sight of the fact that he puts himself above and beyond. He puts himself in harm's way to save others, and I think there's a heroic nature to him, and that is the one thing I like to attach the most meaning to.
I'm alive!
Let's talk about things I didn't like about this film. Every character that isn't the Stath man is pretty pointless. Rainn Wilson, pointless. Funny, but pointless. The old man, with an even more pointless death that is supposed to make you feel for the characters, I guess. The old man's daughter was also pretty pointless. She's just sort of the love interest, kind of. She did some things, like getting attacked by a giant squid before leaving, or shooting a missile at the Meg before missing and leaving, or entering Statham's quarters to apologize for blaming him for the death of a guy who sacrificed himself so his friends and Statham could escape and live, only to see how fucking hot he is because he's right out of the shower to get the blood of his ex-wife off of him before leaving. The acting for basically everyone except Statham and Rainn Wilson is incredibly wooden, like driftwood. That's right. Ruby Rose still can't act. She's perfect for the CW. Speaking of Ruby Rose, near the beginning of the film, it sounded like her accent was different from her accent later in the film. Some Australian was sneaking through to her American accent, I guess. Why not just let her speak with her Australian accent? Why does she need to not do that? It would have made more sense for an Australian to work on this Chinese research facility than all the Americans that are there. Did Joss Whedon have a hand in this? What was the point of all those little scenes with that family that consists of a fat-ass little kid with a bad mom on the beach? Why do we have to see that? Was it supposed to be for the quote-unquote comedy of seeing the fat kid be scared of getting eaten by a shark, and when it doesn't happen, he just plops the popsicle back in his face? I guess.
Dostoevsky.
And that's another thing. The Meg's behavior didn't really make sense or seem to be consistent, although it may be that it's just because there are two of them. Yeah, that's right, there's always a bigger fish. And another Star Wars thing, the underwater glider thing, crafts, whatever, reminded me of the Naboo starfighters mixed with that underwater Gungan ship. Also, one of them was named the Ernest Shackleton, named after the actual Ernest Shackleton, who had an expedition to Antarctica. If you want to learn about him, you should listen to this Australian podcast called Do Go On. I'll leave a link in the description to that episode. Really good. The little girl wasn't good and kind of creepy when she just stares blankly at everyone, and she does it early on in the film when her mother goes and tries to save the crashed ship. She stares at Statham and says, "Is my mommy gonna die?" like in the most monotone voice you could find. This movie felt like 3 different giant shark film ideas just smashed into one. The first one is the whole, hey, rescue operation because this probe ship thing that we sent down into this trench was attacked, and now we gotta get it back.
Funnily, I love all that kind of stuff. I love doing things that require, you know, a little bit of focus and a little bit of adrenaline. It gives me my sense of achievement. Just man. Nice.
The second is, hey, this giant shark escaped a trench, and now it's out in the world. Let's go get it. Hey, we got it. Now let's hoist it up on our fucking boat somehow. The third is, oh shit, a bigger Meg just ate our friend and the shark that we hoisted up. Now there's an even bigger shark that's escaped the trench and heading right to a super popular beach. How do we stop it? Explosives, that's how. Because Jaws did it. This is just Jaws, but more. I think that's about it with the stuff I didn't like. I mean, it's obviously not a good movie, but it's a good dumb movie. A not quite scary at all horror monster shark movie.
Especially when the shark is 75 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never seen anything like that before, but these creatures actually existed.
That's right. I don't know if you've seen a fossil of the tooth, so you can fill up your hand. You know, it's incredible to know that these things existed or maybe do exist. We don't know, but yeah, we kind of do know.
Things I did like. The tie cover of Hey Mickey, which was used again in the fucking credits. Also, I love that the film ends with Finn. Get it? For some reason, when they find this, like, destroyed boat with a bunch of dead sharks that were that were getting their fins cut off to make a soup, which is an actual thing, they have this hook that they're sifting through the shit in the water, and one of the guys fucking hooks a human arm and is holding it in the air, and he's like waving it around. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Jason Statham is fucking awesome, man. I love that guy and his raspy English accent and his badassery. Rainn Wilson was good with what he had to work with, which wasn't much. Jason Statham stabbing the Meg with his, like, underwater glider wing and spilling its blood into the ocean before jumping out, swimming to the Meg's face, and stabbing it in the eye with, like, a poison arrow before the Meg dies. Like, that's just fucking awesome. It was absurdly amazing. And when it dies, like, hundreds or thousands of sharks just swarm the corpse and eat it because, yay, cannibalism! I enjoyed the self-awareness of the film, specifically the Rainn Wilson scenes. This is just a thought I had, but what if the Meg was a prequel to Aquaman? Like how people thought that the, like, alien movie with Ryan Reynolds called Life was a Venom/symbiote film as, like, a prequel to Venom. It's pretty good, you should check it out, but it's not true at all. So, I give The Meg a thumbs up. I mean, really, it's the best movie you're gonna get out of August. So if you want to get out of the heat or cold, depending on where you live, go into your movie theater and watch The Meg or Slender Man.
I can still see him. I can still see him. I can still see him.
See ya.
We've seen you in other movies be normally the one that liquidates people, we could say. In this case, you're saving them.
It's new direction that I'm choosing. Only save people, never kill them.
And speaking of the humor, the movie doesn't make fun of itself, but it
Never kill them. Never kill them. Direction.